Redneck thinks it's funny to yank out mailboxes my dad makes him pay. Haha. Disclaimer. This happened a long time ago, but still makes me giggle to this day. So, way back in the day, mid-90s or so, my family lived in a log cabin on 10 acres of land in a rural area 10 minutes or so out of town. It wasn't totally the sticks, but you could definitely hear banjo music in the background sometimes. Okay? At the end of our nearly 1/4 mile long driveway was one of those roads that was also technically a state highway. In the morning, I trudged down to wait for the bus. When I got home, I grabbed the mail and carried it back. Until one Monday morning when I went out and noticed the mailbox was gone. On closer inspection, looked like it had just been ripped out of the ground. Dad was obviously not pleased. He went to talk with the county sheriff who happened to live a mile down the road. Turns out it had been happening up and down the road for months. Someone was tossing a chain over the mailboxes, yanking it out of their vehicle. He suspected the guy down the road with his big lifted 4-wheel drive truck, but couldn't prove anything. Usually happened on a Saturday or Sunday nights, with people finding out in the morning. Also seems the nicer the mailbox, the bigger the target. And many had been hit multiple times. People had been digging deeper using more durable wood, etc. The guy took it as a challenge and ripped them out again. Soft, sandy ground, and his truck was a monster. Well, Dad said challenge frickin' accepted. A bit about my father. He's a steel worker with an engineering background and a graduate degree. Built like a bear with 4 arms the size of my frickin' legs, okay? Most people are looking at him would never think this monster of a man is also brilliant, but he is. The calm, cool type that never almost loses his temper. But wrong him and God help you. So Dad goes to Lowe's and buys the fanciest prettiest mailbox they sell. He then proceeds to install it on an 8-foot long cylinder of 3 diameter hardened tool steel. But he wasn't done there. After digging down the post holders, dropping it in, he then filled it up with the quickset concrete. To really sell it, he then used some strips of 1/2-inch wood to cover the steel core of his now indestructible mailbox of doom. Nice word! Primed and painted them so it looked like a standard 4-inch post. And even my mom decorate it with flowers and such. He wanted it to be as tempting of a target as possible. I'm laughing at it and it hasn't even started yet. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just thinking of what happens. It didn't even take a week. I went out for school in the morning and found the mailbox was right there where it should. Attached was a 30-foot chain and it just simply ripped right off the truck's frame, sheared and bolts. It was marvelous to behold. Sheriff gets called over, dies laughing when he sees it. He went to the house of the guy that was suspected and, fun fact, verified the damage to his truck. Match. Fun fact, frickin' with the mailbox is a federal crime, as you go to the federal prison. Not those cushy state places. Dad was unofficially rewarded by the sheriff's department with a few cases of beer and subvention. And after that, the deputy in town would flash him a thumbs up whenever they saw him. Too long didn't read. Guy was pulling out mailboxes with a chain attached to his truck. Dad makes invincible mailbox. Guy goes to federal prison. Edit. Apparently, vandalism to mailboxes is far more common than I thought, and other people have taken similar measures. I guess scary minds think alike. Edit. As many have commented, apparently federal prison is actually a lot better than state. Didn't know that. Sorry.
Dr. Kevin, the dyspraxic blood-phobic surgeon. Once I shared a house with Dr. Kevin, who was an eye surgeon. Most notably, he was clumsy. He had no problem holding something in his hands, and if he was standing still. I am going to be absolutely honest throughout, and I am not going to insult you or him by making the outlandish claim that he couldn't hold something while standing still. I even say he was good at it, but he couldn't coordinate with his hands and feet at the same time. If he had to walk across the room carrying something, there was a good chance he would drop it. To be fair to him, about a 40% chance. And every time he dropped something, he would do one or two things. He would usually trip over it, but on a good day, he would kick it really hard into the corner of the room. He fell down the stairs once a week. We'd hear. Sorry, I was just thinking of the Peter Griffin meme. I'll insert it here.
Making that up. Damn it!
Oh my God, Peter, are you okay?
No, I am not okay!
Oh my God. I was just thinking of that. I don't know why I did. We'd hear a series of thumps, and then we see him sitting at the bottom of the stairs with Sammy withered face every single time. I'm not a doctor, so I can't diagnose dyspraxia, but I did seem like it. I'm not mocking dyspraxia. It's the combining with the eye surgery that sits uneasily with me. In the house, we would ask each other, do they not test if a surgeon can carry things and walk downstairs? We decided he must be very good at small movements with his fingertips, but not large ones with his limbs. But when every day he shaved, he cut himself badly. I can only imagine he held this razor still and rubbed his face in it like a cat. He didn't like to use his own towels to mop up the blood, so my girlfriend's towels end up looking like Cruella de Vil's coat. Jesus. Which brings us onto the next item. He was squeamish at the sight of blood. We used to watch a lot of medical dramas, and he'd have to leave the room if there was visible blood. We'd ask each other, do they not test if a surgeon can handle the concept of people bleeding? So we decided there can't be much blood involved in eye surgery, but he also had a very interesting quirk, which was that if there was a binary operation, he would get it, and the wrong way wound. Okay. If he used anything electrical, he would start by turning it off and then ask why it wasn't working. If his pan was boiling over, he would turn the heat up. After seeing me many times going up and down the ladder to my loft, the one time he came up to look at something, he went down the near vertical ladder with his back to it, his face starting off smug as he thought he was showing me a better way of doing something. But turning to terror halfway down, he realized that he was going too fast, had nothing to hold on to, and just jumped the last few rungs. What a fur brain. He melted our steamer 3 times by using it without water.
even though we explained how important water was to the function of a steamer. Then, because he picked up on my annoyance after I had run downstairs for the third time to turn off the melting steamer, he decided to take the batteries out of the smoke alarm so that I wouldn't have to worry about it again. Maybe it's just me, but I didn't see that as the best solution. Let's just stop here a second. Next time you're bored, or if you're bored now, then as an exercise, I want to fully explain his smoke alarm battery decision as if you yourself were Dr. Kevin, and see if you can make it sound rational. Also, the sentence has to end with officer. Oh my god. Best of all, when he sent a parcel to the British Medical Association and it was returned to him unopened, he was angrily waving at me, demanding to know why they had done such a thing. I had to look at it and tell him, "I see what's happened, mate. You put your own name and address on the back." He insisted this was standard procedure for official documents. I added, "Yes, but that's the side you also put the stamp on. You just posted it to yourself." Now, if I was making this story up, I would claim that he paid for extra for recorded delivery and had a sign for it at the door to prove he had received it from himself. I cannot be sure if he did that though. I am just sticking to the truth here because I like to be honest. And I feel Dr. Kevin would be insulted by any embellishment. He needs none. We'd ask each other in the house. Surely they'd test if a surgeon in any circumstance does exactly the opposite of what he should do. I mentioned the cooking issues. Because he came from a strict patriarchal country, the kitchen had a steep learning curve from him. But he was up for it. Once he came into the kitchen where I was talking with my friend, proudly said, "I even do my own shopping." He took my friend's tea mug out of his hand and rinsed it out, and made himself a cup of tea whilst we watched, as if he was just showing us he could. When he left the kitchen, I turned to my friend and asked, "Have you finished your tea?" And I'll always remember the wistful, baffled look on his face as he quietly answered, "No." If you're a British person, I am deeply sorry for the abject pathos you must have felt for reading this distressing anecdote. I'm not British, but I understand where he's going with this. Like many vegetarians, I like to tell everyone that I'm a vegetarian, though Dr. Kevin did try to convince me not to be with his argument, "Rabbits are meant to be eaten." As a vegetarian, I don't get food poisoning, except on this one occasion, just as Dr. Kevin moved in. I knew that my girlfriend, now my wife, was a keeper because she was so very understanding when I unglamorously pooed on the bed in the middle of the night. I had food poisoning so bad that I had to stand in the cellar like Doctor Who regenerating with vomit and diarrhea. Why do I laugh at the nastiest shit? Literally. Oh my days. Oh, my sense of humor's gone downhill. Or uphill, I don't know. I held Bim back simultaneously at both ends to catch it. It's not a memory, and I have nostalgia for it. I didn't understand what had caused it until I saw Dr. Kevin washing up after eating his signature dish of burnt yet undercooked chicken. He only rinsed his plate with cold water and no washing up liquid, rubbing it with just his fingertips and put it straight in the cupboard without drying it. think I got sick after reading that. We asked ourselves, surgeons, hygiene, combination, do they not? I mentioned the patriarchy. One of the women in the house told him it's spring forward, fall back, so he knew which way to change his clocks. But I factitiously, that's a new word for me, exclaimed that it was no good as a memory aid because you can't just easily spring back or fall forward. And because I had said that with a man's authority, he set his clock to the wrong and then blamed me for it when he missed an appointment. To be fair, I do always get confused by that myself. Well, with daylight savings time not existing in Arizona, I don't have to worry about that. He once came into the living room and sat down on the TV remote, changing the channel from the show my girlfriend and our other housemate are watching, and refused to turn it back because, as females, they didn't outrank his male arse. No, of course he didn't really say that. It's just my uncharitable interpretation of his actions. What he actually said was that the the nature show he'd put on was better. I just read ahead. Was better for them to watch than the celebrity show they had on. Celebrity shows are better than nature shows, personally. Is that better or worse than my male-ass-based justification? I do not ever have to ask myself which personality trait is the strongest. The feigned British politeness or feminist murderous rage. I have seen the answer to that question. After seeing my girlfriend leave the house for work every morning, but never asking what she did for a living, he saw a letter for her addressed to Dr. John Saru's girlfriend, and was suddenly interested. Unlike she said in her PhD was in 18th century history, like he never spoke to her again. Just as an aside, he made us call him Dr. Kevin at all times, which was very Mike Myers. I don't spend 6 years in Iowa Medical School to be called Mr. Thank you very much. He was furious to find out surgeons in Britain called just called Mr. for historical reasons. If you were familiar with my own history, you'd remember that amongst all my faults is a slight sensitivity to noise at night. Dr. Kevin was a problem with his regard with doors. As a student of Kevinology, you already assumed that he slammed them loudly. I'll give you 1 point. Because he did slam them as loud as he could, like any master of a craft that had a thorough grasp of the basics. But that wasn't the issue. Excuse me. He used to open doors loudly. Open them. I've seen him do it in the daytime too. After a short run-up, he would throw his whole weight into the door, but not turn the handle until after he hit it. Don't try this to test it. I've tried it before, as it is a horrible noise and you might break your door. It's a metal grinding sound as loud as a balloon popping. I would often wake up sitting upright. Being woken in fear in the night is not something I would wish on anyone. If anything, the following slamming of the door came as a relief, revealing that the original noise was just Dr. Kevin being a dumbass. I mean, failing with physical objects, and not the last Trump summoning me to Jesus' side for an awkward conversation about agnosticism. Oh, these big words. Speaking of an awkward conversations, you know if you're having a difficult one, say with your boss, or someone who makes you nervous, there's a technique where you imagine the other person is sitting on the toilet. Dr. Kevin must have heard about this but misunderstood, because if there was any issue he wanted to raise with me, he would wait and then shout it through the bathroom door at me whilst I was having a well-deserved poo. I am sorry to mention me pooing again. It's not something I normally like to discuss. He'd be annoyed if I didn't want to talk to him. And I'd have to explain that I was pooing, and that, as you'll know, that you've been reading this carefully, it's not something I normally like to discuss, especially during. Quite ruins it for me. And that's why I decided to become an eye surgeon, because at the bar, they say it's obviously so low that any idiot can stumble over it whilst dropping things. Not really though. I wouldn't be up to it academically. My spelling is awful. I had to look up diarrhea. I'd be killing people left or right, confusing hyperglycemia with hypoglycemia, as well as freaking out because you'd have to cut people's eyes. How could you even get past that? I'm cutting an eye. Oh my days. But he wasn't just a job needing a great skill and composure while speaking in a second language. So he must have been very bright in ways that I couldn't see. I wish him well in his medical career and future malpractice lawsuits. Oh no, I know what this one means. Today I effed up by trying to Dutch oven my wife. So this happened yesterday, but still close enough, I say. So I wake up on a fine Sunday morning with my lovely wife, and my lovely wife snuggles me in for a cuddle. We're comfortable enough with each other that farting isn't really an issue, so I let one rip. This was quite possibly the best fart I've ever done. I swear the covers left a fraction of the sheer force. Oh my god. I can't even do that. And I've tried. Didn't work out. To say the least. My wife looks up with a mix of admiration and disgust at the stupid grin on my face and inspiration strikes. I quickly grab the blanket and pull it over her head. Brilliant! Or so I thought. Acting far quicker than I ever thought possible, she manages to kidney punch me, escape from the blankets, drag them over my head, and off the dirtiest wires. Oh, Jesus! As a little extra flavor, my wife is lactose intolerant and also would know about her lactose intolerance. The phrase is "a little won't hurt" is her life motto. Often followed by oh wait, I can't get through this story. Often followed by horrible bloating and gas. The previous night she had eaten a bunch of pizza and chocolate. I couldn't breathe. To add to insult to injury, she then called my two little devil spawn daughters and told them to jump on me, causing me to gasp as two separate impacts rocked me under the bed. Needless to say, I won't be trying that stunt for a while. Oh. Hey guys, GeoGaming here. Welcome back to another video. So today, welcome to r/entitled parents. Now, before I begin, I want to let you guys know that I am working on a project with a few other people. Mikey Plays is also included in it, and we need digital artists. So if you are a digital artist and would like to help out with this project, please let me know or let Thordis know.
his on Twitter. Both of our Twitter handles will be down in the description below. Anyway, let's get this video started, shall we? So, the first story I have here is, hey, you're too old for a PC. So, EM is entitled Mom, EB is entitled Brat, who is 9 years old, MD is my dad, me, which is me, obviously, and Uncle, my uncle. So, let's get to the story. So it was a year ago, 2/17/2019, which was my birthday. I was 15 at the time. Ooh, I was so close. I would have been reading this a year, but this is going up. This is going up on the 20th, so of February. Anyway, okay. So it was a year ago, 2/17/2019, which was my birthday. And I was 15 at the time, so yeah, I was young, but I had anger issues which can be easily set off by people. This is why I kept myself to gaming. I've been playing on a crappy laptop which cost €450, which were meant for school and not playing games. But it ran CSGO pretty good enough that I could play it on medium settings, but it was the only game I could play at the moment. So, my uncle knew I wanted a PC for my birthday, and I always wished for one, and I had a lot of games I couldn't run, which was a waste of money. So, it was my birthday, which I was hyped for. My family got invited to my home, which was pretty neat, I thought, but nah. My aunt from Spain got invited with her 9-year-old son, who loved Fortnite, which was fine, but sometimes not, because he acts like he can own everything, but I really don't care for now. It was the time for presents, which I was pretty hyped for. So I opened my small gifts, but I opened the big ones for last, or saved the big ones for last, I'm guessing. I got clothing and money. In total, I got €150, which was nice. So first, I got to open a keyboard, a Razer keyboard, which I was kind of confused before I opened the Logitech G502 mouse, and I got a small idea in my head. At first, I thought it was something I could use on my laptop because I like gaming, but when I opened the second present, I found a screen, and I saw my uncle with a big smile. So I found a big, juicy one. I opened it like a lion who hasn't eaten me for a month. Why did I do that? And found a big, new computer. I ran towards my uncle, giving him a hug. Now, here comes entitled Brat and entitled Mom. They were looking at the PC, and EB starts to cry that he also wanted a PC, but he had a PS4 Pro at home. PS4s, from my knowledge, are amazing. That's all I can say. He whispers something to his mother before EM comes towards me, saying, Hey, nice PC you have. Yeah, it is really nice. I'm gonna start plugging it tomorrow. It was 7 p.m. and I need to help with cleaning, so yeah. How old are you? I'm 15 now. Why? My son really wants your computer and you're too old for one. When said that, my blood was rising as she slowly grabbed my mouse, which was at the top of my PC like it was nothing, and placed it beside EB and Biggie, the frick? And EB had a big grin on his face. Hey, what are you doing? I and my family were in rage and shock. As I was about to yell at her, I walked down to the mouse she laid beside EB, which she grabbed, so I walked down to take my mouse, and he started to cry. Like a 4-year-old. EM was so angry that she almost grabbed my PC and was gonna throw it out. But before she did, my father grabbed her arm and took her to the other room. not to let her destroy anything. While my uncle and I brought the things to my room and locked the door. Now the birthday passes and I used money to buy headphones and a Blue Yeti mic. The rest of the money was going to my games. My room was beside the door of people coming into my house, so when EB and EM came into our house, I would open the door fully to make EB jealous, which was fun for me. That should actually be on r. Never mind. I was gonna say it would be on r/pro revenge, but I don't read. I don't read r/pro revenge. All right. Next, EK really wants to be Mario. EM says that Satan put my family on Earth as an obstacle. Mobile. The cast: EM, entitled Mother. EK, entitled Kid. NS, Nice Supervisor. S, my sister. M, my mom. And me, me. Okay, a little backstory. I go to a very particular church in Chicago, where we have a rec room where we can play games. Duh. There was a kid who came in and was really excited to play Wii, 2012. And we were playing Mario, one of my favorite games on the Wii. And for some reason, this kid wanted to be no one but Mario. In order to be Mario, you'll need to be the first player remote. That was a tongue twister. Here's where the story begins. No, I want to be Mario! Well, I got here first, so? In order to be Mario, you need the first player remote. She already has it. At this point, the kid is trying to snatch the remote from my sister. The only thing stopping him is the wristband. You, go sit in the corner. No! Now! Fine. Fast forward to when EM comes to pick him up. EK, we're get ready to leave. Okay. I need to talk to you about your son. What happened? They talked. You! Points to me. Where's your mother? I go get my mom. What's the problem? Explains the situation. Ass, get over here. What happened? My sister tells the truth, and of course, EK lies. See, EK? Satan will put people in your path as an obstacle. This is one thing you'll have to overcome. Excuse me? They argue and agree to disagree. I see this kid every now and then, but never talk to him. Wow.